All right, so I don't usually talk about music on this channel, but I wanted to talk about Quadeca's new album, Vanisher Rise and Scraper. Just give my general thoughts on it. It just came out yesterday. I've been listening to it today and a little bit yesterday just to kind of get a feel of what I think of the album and just kind of give like a basic rundown of what I thought, what was different in this album than the last album, and yeah, just all that. Immediately, I could tell in this album he was going for more of a production standpoint than a vocal standpoint. Besides like the few singles that were released, because those are mainly vocal, I should say. Those are mainly about the vocals. But it seems like a lot of the lyrics mixed with the vocal and his voice and everything, they're a lot more drawn out than they were in this past few albums he's done. I Did Me Haunt You had some pretty drawn vocals, but not nearly as drawn as this album. So I thought that was quite different. I think the production side with the beats, with the guitar, piano work, it really did well in this album. It did. I wouldn't say it necessarily did better than I'd Be Haunt You, but it just did in a different way. So it was really nice to see that. There's a lot of growth I could tell from this album to the last album that really stood out to me. I think some of the songs that really stood out were Natural Causes. That's like my favorite in the album. I thought that was an insane, especially since it starts off so like monotone and then it gets higher and higher as it goes and with a beat drop. I thought that was an amazing track. Specifically one with Danny Brown. I forgot the name. That one was pretty insane to hear as well. Let me just pull up the album real quick on Spotify. I see. Waging War was an interesting one. At time like this was nice. Thunder was really impressive too. I didn't think Thunder was gonna be such an aggressive track, but it was really nice to hear. And then obviously the singles were impressive. Still, the singles felt a little bit like weirdly placed. I think for me, obviously Forgone, Monday, and then Godstained. They're very heavily vocaled, whereas everything else, pretty much in the whole like album, didn't have as many vocals, which I thought was cool still, because then at least you get kind of a mixture of lots of vocals mixed with lots of like production with beats. It felt really nice to hear a lot of those. The intro to this track or this album was amazing. No questions asked. I thought that was a perfect opener. It really set the tone of what you're going to be listening to. And then as you got on, it got more and more intense. Casper was an amazing ending track. This is probably my favorite ending track of any Quadeca album. I love I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, but that last track with like Cassani's Division was not my favorite uh, ending track. It wasn't too interesting to me, but it still wasn't that bad. Some of part one and part two by Quadeca for me to you was those were good ones. I like the two parterness and I like how it ended. Um, yeah, I think this one had by far the best one. It had the best production as well. You could really hear it in the mixes. There's a lot of mixing going on with the layers of like little bits of vocals here and there, and then mixed with like really heavy production. So it was really is a really nice record. Is it my favorite? I don't think it's my favorite by him. I think I Did Me Haunt You still was a better record, but I think this one's really held its own throughout the list. And it's a completely different kind of listen. If you listen to I Did Me Haunt You and then listen to this, they're just completely different styles of music. So they're really nice. I love how he took elements based on his other records and put it into this record as well. Like you could definitely hear some of the scrapyard with like a little bit of the I Did Me Haunt You and then a little bit of the For Me to You in this. Forgone was a perfect example. It has a mix of kind of like obviously like a choir with like the Fantasy World or Fractions of Infinity, but then it has a little bit of element of like Sisyphus and stuff, and with the building of the with the drop, and it was really nice. So yeah, impressive track, impressive record. Those are my thoughts on it. I think it was an amazing record.